with the process. But in the email, I think they provide you with links to go for consultation session with the company that provide the service. So please arrange for a slot for you to attend, and we try to assist you. We will try to assist you as much as possible with the process. All right. So while you are doing that, even though April is probably another 1.5 months away, but we cannot wait until you registered as an official student. So I suggest we start straight away with the research work. And if you look at the proposal, I think you are clear about the idea. The idea is actually very simple. Dr. Yunis and Prof. Manan from the engineering faculty is handling another 2 portions of the project. So this grant, it has 3 portions. One is to fabricate the pavement. So this is Prof. Manan's job from engineering. So his job is actually to come up with this concrete layer that we can put on top of a road. So this is Prof. Manan. He has completed the design, and at the moment they are fabricating this concrete layer. And then another research grant led by Dr. Yunis, also from engineering. His job is to come up with the piezoelectric mechanism at the bottom of this concrete layer. So whenever a vehicle pass by this concrete layer, it will vibrate, and then it will push the piezoelectric layer and generate electricity. So our job is it possible, based on the data collected here, to do 2 things. One is to train a deep learning model on the data, because the amount of vibration and the amount of electric current being generated depends on the weight of the vehicle and maybe some other factors. So in theory, if you have different type of vehicle, if we categorize vehicle into 3 main categories, let's say for motorcycle, okay, then we have a standard car, doesn't matter which kind of car, we call it sedan. And then maybe lorry or heavy load. So either 8 axle or 12 axle and 18 axle and so on. Okay. So different type of vehicle, we generate different type of load, and accordingly different type of vibration, and we can train this deep learning model. So this is for the training phase, and then we can do the inference. So based on the model, then we can sort of calculate how many vehicles passing at that point using this data. So our challenge now is a sequential kind of project, which I overlook actually, meaning that Prof. Yunis have to wait for Prof. Manan to complete. So this one done already. And then for us, we have to wait until Dr. Yunis complete his work in order to generate the data. And at the moment, from what I heard from last week, it is still in testing phase. It's not ready for actual real world deployment. So I don't think we can wait that long. So the best thing that we can do is to probably generate simulated data based on example data that they have, which I will try to get as soon as possible. And we do the first training using different model, select the best model from the baseline study, and then do actual training on either simulated data or real world data, and so on. The metric used is the standard metric for deep learning, coefficient metrics, F1 score, and then compare between manual calculation and also the one detected by this deep learning model in terms of accuracy. So it's quite straightforward, I would say. And so the challenge is how to ensure that the model train can cater for different real world situation. There are so many factors that can affect the generation of the piezoelectric current. and also the vibration. So those are part and parcel of the research work. Until we actually do the experimental study, we wouldn't be able to further analyze the result. So that's the idea in general. Amir, are you okay with that?
Yes, sir, I'm okay with that.
All right, that's good. So now, I think the best thing that we can do for the next few weeks is to do a literature review. But before that, maybe I will explain to you how the system works with UNIMAS when it comes to master by research. So as I mentioned, it is a semester based. We have 2 semesters per year. And then I think at the moment we target for at least 2 years in order to complete your study. Now, let's say we have 2 years, all right? And then we divide this into 4 semesters. So year 1, year 2, semester 1, semester 2, semester 3, semester 4. So you will register April 2024.
Yes, sir.
Next semester would be, I think, December, if I'm not mistaken. Because you are doing the middle of semester kind of registration. 2024 until April 2025. Okay. And so on. December 2025. And the end of 2 years is April 2026. All right.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to complete everything within 2 years plus viva and correction, then we have to work backward. Now, how it works, let's talk about submission of viva. So usually submission of viva or submission of thesis for viva is, I would say, the last formal activity before you go to the actual viva itself. Meaning that one of leg is across the line already. So that one, and assuming we get 6-month correction. So if you work backward, 6-month correction, you have to submit your completed thesis in December 2025. Okay, so this one is submission of thesis. So after you submit your thesis for master, we have 2 examiners, one internal, one external. That's my job and Dr. Rahman's job to find suitable viva. So let's say the viva is in January 2026, okay? 1 month after the thesis being read by the examiner. There are 4 outcomes from viva. Outcome number 1, or they call it decision A, this is no correction or minor correction. So my personal experience, I've been with UNIMAS for the past 24 years. This one very seldom. To my knowledge, in our faculty, computer science, probably 1 or 2 students for the past 25 years. Very seldom, meaning that this is almost complete, maybe very, very minor spelling errors or no spelling errors at all, and everything else is perfect. And this one is quite rare. So the second one is B, and this is probably the most general that the student will get. So this one, 6-month correction. When I say the month, that is the maximum. So if you are given B correction, minimum that maximum we have 6 months. But based on my personal experience, I have one student from Pakistan last time. That was back in 2015. He was given 6-month correction. After 3 days, he come back to me and told me, "Sir, I've completed my correction." Wow. I told him, so fast. I checked everything. Yes, he did all the correction in 3 days. Of course, he told me he didn't sleep and so on. So meaning that if you are given 6-month correction, in theory, you can finish it within 2 or 3 weeks if you really focus. Okay. And this is
Okay.
probably the average. I would say 85%, 90% student will get this. And this is not a concern. Now, C, then you need to start to get worried. See, there are two outcomes. C1, major correction, 12 months. So this one is 6 months. Later I'll share this note with you, don't worry. So C1 12-month correction without reviva. So meaning that you don't have to viva again. You just do the correction, maximum 12 months, and then will be passed to either both internal and external or just internal. This one also, I would say, not that frequent. Sometimes depends on the quality of the thesis and also during the viva session, whether the student able to justify, answer question and so on. But I cannot recall when the last time I come across C1 or C2 for the past few years. Now C2 is, I would say, not so good news. You still pass, so all these ABC pass, but for C2 you are given 12 months maximum correction, but you need to viva again. So you have to go through the whole process again, which add more time, and you have to pay the examination fee again, which is 1,500 ringgit if I'm not mistaken, and so on. D, of course, is failure, and again, I never come across this, which is probably a good news. Is unlikely you fail for a viva, yeah. So usually when you submit a thesis, your supervisor already know, and just that you do not know whether it's an A or B or C, but unlikely D. Because if a supervisor look at your thesis and he or she feels that it's not ready for viva, then the supervisor will not support or endorse, and you cannot submit. All right. So, so yeah, if you assume 6 months, then if you work backward, you have to submit around December or November 2025. But bear in mind, in order for you to submit your thesis here, you must also inform CGS 3 months beforehand. So we call this notice of submission. But don't worry about this one. Now, what is important, you have 1.5 years to complete everything from the beginning until the end. So remember, you have only 3 semesters to get everything done. And then the last 6 semester, hopefully for the viva and the correction. Then you can finish within 2 years. Is it possible to finish in 1.5 years? Theoretically, yes. Yeah, it depends on your commitment. We can help you, and myself and Dr. Rahman can assist you. If you planning, I mean, we can target for 1.5 years, but again, we have to work backward. So if 1.5 years, meaning that within 1 year you have to complete everything, and then the last 6 months is for the viva, thesis, and so on. Okay.
Okay, sir. All
right. So the good news is the things that you need to do is sort of already known based on the research proposal. You know what other things need to be done compared to some other students that come up with their own topic. Then they sort of have to figure out what are the methodology, what are the metrics, what are the experimental study, and so on. And those are not easy to do, and sometimes you can get lost, you can change direction, and so on. So for this project, as long as you fulfill the requirement for the project, then that's it. Nothing much else that you need to do. So if you plan ahead, starting from now, so we have a buffer of 1 month plus here, March and April. Oh, actually just 1 month actually, because it's 5th of April.
Yes, sir.
So this one, let's try to do chapter 1, which is the introduction and so on, which already inside the proposal, and chapter 2, which is on literature review. Okay. So what I will do after this, even though you haven't registered yet, I will create a shared folder. Inside the shared folder, we are using OneDrive, by the way. So once you register as a student, then you will get access to your Unimas account, which will have access to OneDrive as well. But for the meantime, probably you have to use your personal Microsoft account in order to access our shared folder using OneDrive. So what I do with my student, I put everything, and the student put everything into the shared folder. There are different folder. There's one for proposal, there's one for thesis, there's one for references. So put everything there. If let's say you want me to check on chapter 1, so you just message me using WhatsApp. Can you help to check my current draft for chapter 1 that I can check in the shared folder? So we use the shared folder to share any files related to your research work. So I will share sample thesis from my previous student, and maybe Dr. Rahman can share as well, good thesis. And the idea is you follow the format. Because sometimes, because we were student at one time, just to share my personal experience, when you start your master and maybe your PhD, in the beginning you are so ambitious, want to do everything from the beginning, from scratch, but later you will find out that it's a waste of time. So the point is, be smart, use this sample thesis as the reference, follow the structure, because the structure is the same. And chapter 1, introduction, background of the research, the problem statement, the research question, research hypothesis, objective, significance of the research, and so on. So the structure is the same. Of course, the writing depends on our research. Chapter 2 is the same, chapter 3 is the same. So basically you have the template already. Your job is to fill in the section with your own work. So chapter 1 is introduction. Oh, by the way, I have to leave in 15 minutes time because I have to pick up my kids. So sorry about that. Chapter 2 is literature review. Chapter 3 is on the research methodology. Okay, so research methodology, basically you are telling the reader how you're going to approach your research. So you have your research problem. What are you going to do? You're going to use experimental study. So what are the details of the experimental study? What metrics do you use to evaluate, and so on. So later we can discuss about this in another session. Now, chapter 4 is the we can do experimental study in chapter 4, and then sometimes we can include the analysis and discussion in the same chapter, but sometimes we can split into another chapter. So this one we can always decide later. So chapter 5 is the result and discussion. Result and discussion. And chapter 6 is the conclusion and future work. Okay. And the rest is references and any appendix or any. So I think if we can concentrate on these two chapters for the next, I would say 1.5 months or 2 months, then that would be good. Now, I forgot to mention what are the requirements for you to graduate from the Master of Science by Research. So there are two requirements to graduate. Of course, you have to pass your Viva. Okay, graduation, there are two requirements. Graduation. Okay. Number 1, you pass your Viva, and afterwards you submit the correction. Okay, that's what I mentioned just now.
Yes,
the second requirement is you have to publish a journal paper. One journal paper, Scopus index minimum. Okay. So minimum is Scopus, or you can go for ISI, which is the higher ranking compared to Scopus. So you just need one journal paper. So usually my approach with my student for master, you can publish at least 3 papers. Right? You can easily publish systematic literature review from chapter 2 SLR, and then you can combine chapter 3 and chapter 4 and chapter 5 into another paper.
Okay, sir.
Or it can be 2 papers actually, it depends. But in order to graduate, only one journal paper. So this is again something that we will guide you and write together this paper. and
Okay.
my job is to find the funding, which is from the research grant. But again, the issue is we have to publish before the grant expired in order to pay for the journal fee.
Okay.
All right. Question. Or Dr. Rahman, anything you want to share?
Actually,
A lot to digest in this short period.
it's okay. It was
So, Amir,
really,
feel free to ask me anything that you are concerned. What is your plan when you want to come here? Do you need to be here? Yes, ideally, if you are here in Unimas, much better because you can concentrate. Can you be there in Pakistan? Yes, but based on my personal experience, it's going to be challenging. I usually meet my student at least once a week, so we can find time. We can discuss for half an hour or 1 hour, depending on the task. But I usually allocate weekly with my student. Timing wise, it depends. Sometimes I meet my student at night. If online is okay, I mean I'm quite flexible, weekends and so on.
yeah.
It's okay, sir. Inshallah. Yes, sir.
Okay, you go
So
ahead.
when you want to come here, I mean,
Uh, Inshallah, approximately within 2 weeks maximum or
No,
3 weeks.
I think it is not possible like this, Amir, because the visa process
Yes,
takes
sir.
time. So
Okay.
Dr. Johari, thank you so much.
yeah,
You actually uh, picturized the whole process very nicely and very informative. We have
Yes.
already started actually the visa process. We are preparing the documents. I already talked to Unimas Global and got the latest information. So
yeah,
as soon as possible, based on the procedure, he will be inshallah here. So as soon as possible.
yeah,
I have one question.
sure,
You know the Dr. Yunus project and the other professor project.
yeah,
They generate two values, right? One a vibration value and another the amount of electricity, right?
yeah,
So it means actually there are two digital values. So the data is in digital format, not in text format.
correct, yeah. Uh, it is in digital, but I think the value is in numbers. So the
Yeah,
unit of measurement is numbers.
yeah, numbers. I mean actually
Yeah,
number. Like for example,
yeah,
the vibration value will be, let's suppose, 2 inch per second, and electricity amount 3 volt or something like that. So
correct.
okay, so on the basis of these numbers, we have three classes only. The classification will be in three classes: motorcycle, standard car, and heavy vehicle.
Yeah,
Why I want to clarify this thing, because later on I want to share with Amir Raza the deep learning models and the procedure. Then he will focus on this direction, because deep learning, is a many different possibilities are there.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah. So if the data is confirmed, then the focus is clear.
yeah. So I will try to get sample data from Dr. Eunice by tomorrow or the day after.
Okay.
And if it's confirmed text based, the unit of numbers, measurement is numbers. I think what is suitable based on my knowledge is either autoencoder or LSTM, or maybe a hybrid.
Yeah, okay. That one actually we can try several. Um, uh, I just noted it, but hopefully, if we just see the data, but I
Yeah,
think from your explanation, I think it's a numeric data and three classes. So
correct. Yeah,
yeah, so hopefully should not be a problem.
yeah. My concern is the the correlation is proportional to the weight of the vehicle.
Yeah,
So our challenge is, let's say we take a car. There are so many type of car. So what is the possible lowest value of vibration for a given car, and what is the highest value? Because maybe some car, the weight is probably the same as a small lorry.
Yeah.
So how do you differentiate that? So not easy without any additional data. So those are the things that if we can find a solution with or without deep learning. So meaning that we use deep learning for the first level of inference. Uh, if there is so-called element of ambiguity, then we might have to use another approach to determine whether that is really a car or is it a small lorry. So that one we have to brainstorm a little bit, or we can limit the scope. All depends on the accuracy that we are looking for.
Okay, and sir, yeah, I agree with you, 100% agree with you. And sir, the objective and the outcome is to count the number of vehicles per
Correct.
specific time period, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
That one is the applied application of the result. So the main thing is we able to differentiate the classes of vehicle and eventually count the number of vehicle. In terms of traffic parameter, there is a formula, but that one is very simple. So usually you count the total number of vehicle per duration of time in hours. So there is a measurement for that. But that one is just applied. So what is more important is the inference itself, whether it is accurate based on the data provided.
Yeah, but sir, okay, I think maybe we can discuss later also. But if let's suppose someone asks that this problem can easily be solved just by putting a camera, the camera will check anything pass by, take a picture and count.
I have another project doing that actually. That one is using image processing. But the issue is like this.
Mm,
Image processing works well in ideal lighting condition.
mm,
So meaning that daytime is okay.
mm,
So between 7 a.m., let's say Malaysia time, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., then the deep learning model based on image from camera is working well. But after that, nighttime, then it's totally useless. So this one is to complement different situation. And another one,
okay. Mm,
the image-based traffic counting, you need to position the camera at certain point. So meaning that you need to have either a pole, traffic light, or street light where you can position the camera. So not everywhere you have that. So in certain situation or scenario, our solution using this data is probably more feasible compared to image-based. So that one, what we can do, I have another student working on that. So that was 1.5 years ago. He already have a review paper. So then we can just recycle the content and write another SLR based on our approach.
okay, I
Mhm.
got it now. I think
Mm,
should not be a problem. Hopefully,
yeah.
yeah, hopefully should not be a problem.
Something come across my mind, Dr. Rahman. To be honest, is it necessary to use deep learning? If we can use machine learning, then so because when I thought about this, you probably do not need deep learning actually. So this one we can once we have some idea of the data, then we can discuss again.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah,
parameter is very small, so there's no point to use deep learning if
yeah.
the parameter is not that many.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I think yeah. Hopefully, when we get the data and we try different approaches, we can come out with the best baseline. Uh,
Yep.
so hopefully, I think because the classes are only three and there are very small data, only two parameters and numeric data. If there is a complex data and too much data, then we have sometime issues. I think this one hopefully should not be so complex.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So I mean, any question? I mean, don't worry. I mean, ask
No,
question
sir.
to Dr. Rahman. We don't eat people. Don't worry. We are very nice people, especially Dr. Rahman. So we try as much as possible to bring you here. As what Dr. Rahman mentioned, it can be a lengthy process. But anything that we can help, of course, we will help you. And of course, our duty is to ensure that we train you to become a good researcher. So that's the whole idea of doing master by research, because we started at the same point many years ago, and so
Exactly.
yeah, we understand what probably you are thinking at this moment. There are a lot of uncertainty. Okay, maybe last one before we stop for today. You know where you start. So today is 4/3 2024. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the starting point. I call it a starting point. So you know where you start. Yeah? So you start your master. A lot of students think that it's a straight line, and then you know where you want to end. So I mentioned just now the ending, viva, and so on. But the reality is kind of like this. There's a lot down. Once in a while you go up, but down again, and so on. And inshallah, at the end, then you
Exactly.
get through. And all these are normal. And if you don't feel stressed, if you don't feel uncertain, if you don't feel lost, then something is not right.
Yeah,
Something is not
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter how smart you are, how dedicated you are, at some point, then you will have this question mark somewhere. And that is part and parcel of the journey, actually. But we are here to assist you. And that's the whole idea of having a supervisor. And we want to ensure that you become a good researcher, a good academician, and so on, inshallah.
Thank you.
All right, I have to make a move. I have to pick up my daughter. If not, then she will scold me later. I am late. I think after this, what you can do, Dr. Rahman, pass me Amir phone number. We'll create a WhatsApp group. So anything we can continue to discuss that at any time, no problem.
Okay. Okay. Sure. No
Okay.
problem.
All right.
Yeah.
And after this, I will generate a PDF of this note and share inside the WhatsApp group and also in the shared folder.
Okay. Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you
All right, with that, thank you very much. Take care. Still very
so much.
early in Pakistan. For us, it's not the end of the day, but yeah, it's half a day already. Okay, so thank you very much and Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Amir, I just want to ask. Oh, you already gone.